Let me read through our hearing script and then we'll get started. This is the May 18th, 2022 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the zoning hearing examiner for the city of Cincinnati. I'll preside over this hearing. The case before us today is case number ZH20220068. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony or evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing, unless the party has submitted evidence or testimony in the form of writing prior to this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If there were anyone here from the public, they would then have an opportunity to speak after the applicant had presented its case. I will give our zoning plans examiner, Wes Menzel, an opportunity to provide any testimony he would like. In the event any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant shall have the opportunity to make any or to respond to that argument in opposition and provide any rebuttal. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. I may also refuse to consider hearsay testimony or documents. That's generally evidence you want to introduce that consists of statements made by someone who is not present at this hearing. Let's see. In the event of any technical difficulties or any unforeseen circumstances with our video conferencing technology, I will do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly, but to the extent there is some defect in the tech that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, let me get each of you sworn in. If you could raise your right hands, I need you to answer out loud. You solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks. Mr. Beto, what would you like to tell me about the project?
Okay, so we are proposing to co-locate on an existing cell tower. The tower is a 134-foot stealth flagpole, so none of the antennas will be visible. And then we'll have an equipment cabinet and backup generator on the ground. So like I said, you're really not going to see the antennas. The equipment cabinets are going to be more or less shielded. There's to the north, west, and east. They're fairly tall trees kind of around the property there. So anyone in those directions is really not going to be able to see that. There's a school to the south, which will again, provide some shielding from visibility for the ground equipment. The only real opportunity you would even have to see in this is just a little bit from the right of way. But you'd have to be standing more or less right in front of the proposed the existing access drive to the school. And that the zoning district to the south there, where you'd be able to see the cabinets, is a commercial district. The tower itself is on a residentially zoned property. I think that's a little misleading though. Looking at the aerial, it's looks to be a golf course to the north there, so no real residences anyway. And again, the only thing you'd really be able to see from those properties anyway to the north would be the tower itself, which is again, resembles a flagpole at first glance. Most people wouldn't typically know that it's actually a cell tower there. We've elected to go on this tower as just to kind of reduce any additional cellular infrastructure in the city, reduce the visual impacts. So we think we're again doing our best here to try to minimize impacts to the surrounding area while reusing existing infrastructure there.
Okay. I didn't realize that these type of towers even existed, that you could do this where there's not actual antennas sort of sticking out of it. It appears to be much more like aesthetically pleasing than having the antennas come off. Why aren't there more like this?
They really limit the number of antennas you can put in any given location. A standard cell tower has in any individual direction, you can put 4 to 5 antennas at that elevation. With the flagpole towers or other similar towers, it's limited to more or less 1 per elevation. So you're cutting down your antennas, you know, from 4 or 5 down to 1. We actually had to do 2 separate elevations here just to provide the coverage that we're seeking to provide to the area here.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. All right, thanks. Wes, anything you'd like to add?
Good morning. I would just want to get some clarification. I guess we were recommending that some screening be put on the chain link fence. I mean, this is a school site, so although the golf course to the north and woods to the east screen, you know, do a good job of screening the equipment at the base, the school site doesn't have any screening, so I would, you know, we kind of might need to clarify. I said south and east on the condition, but the base is kind of skewed from north south, you know, that axis. So I would want to clarify the 2 sides that face the school, and there's a garden and playground kind of abutting there, that we would, you know, recommend that screening be installed of some sort. That would be my only comment.
Sure. Mr. Beto, why not throw some screening in there?
The existing site doesn't have screening. There are already two carriers there already. There's one that has a kind of a canopied shelter. The other one just has their equipment on a concrete pad. Truthfully, it's just that we don't own the compound. We don't own the fence. That's the tower management company's ownership and responsibility. So we don't touch that if we don't need to.
Okay. Is the owner aware that you're doing the installation?
Yes. Yeah, they're leasing just a 300 square foot area to us, and all of our proposed work, other than the antennas themselves, is going in that area.
Gotcha. So you don't think you have the authority to actually put screening there?
I don't know if I don't have the authority. It's just not typical for us to touch that. I mean, I'm sure if we went back to them and said, hey, this is necessary, you know, I don't know if that would, I guess I don't know how things would shake out, whether we take that on or if they take it on themselves. But again, this isn't something that we typically do, especially with an existing compound. If this were something that were identified, you know, up front when the tower went in, you know, if this were a raw-land build that we were doing, we'd say, sure, this is a zoning requirement, no big deal. Being a co-location, it just complicates things a little bit. I'm not sure how that all gets handled between AT&T and the tower owner.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
And I think that it's a relatively short fence. I, of course, don't have my site photos pulled up right now, but I don't know truthfully how much screening that's really going to provide. Our equipment cabinet's nearly 10, 11 feet tall. So you're going to see a good portion of it, regardless of the screening you would put here at the fence. And I don't think we have any room lease area wise outside the fenced area to put any like arborvitae or some type of you know, plantings that would provide any kind of screening there.
Okay. All right.
David?
Yeah.
Hi. On page 4 of the staff report, there is a photo provided in the application that shows the base area. I'm guessing this fence is it's taller than there's a car in the view. I'm guessing the fence is probably about 5 or 6 feet, but and I'm trying to figure out which angle this photo was taken from. It looks like maybe it's taken from the driveway going into the site, you know, kind of at the curve of the driveway. But yeah, I mean, I would encourage the applicant to talk to the owner and see if there's any way to do something. Because even if it only covers half of the, I mean, there's a taller structure with a roof on it or canopy or something. Of course, you're not going to screen that, but at least some of the lower stuff would get screened. But I mean, we did this same kind of thing on that one on Linwood last week. At that other school, but
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think with the school in particular, it would be nice if there could be some screening there. I mean, so Mr. Beto, you think if I approve this and attach the condition that there needed to be screening on this site, that it would prevent you from actually going forward with the co-location?
I don't know if it necessarily prevents us from going forward. It just makes things more difficult on our end, and there's going to be additional coordination with the
I meant
tower owner and how they want to handle this.
I'm in a meeting on the Zoom, so I'll be out in a minute.
Sorry.
I don't
about
know
that.
if they, I don't know if they
Sorry.
would necessarily, deny our request to add screening. I guess this really hasn't come up before, I guess. I'm not sure how this plays out.
Okay, sure, that's fair. All right, anything else you'd like to tell me at all about the project or the screen or anything else before we adjourn?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Beto, again for your time, your testimony here today, your thorough presentation. I am going to approve the project. I'm okay with the co-location and the equipment on the bottom. I'd like to take a closer look, maybe ask sort of my boss that did this job previously for an opinion about this screening issue, because I do understand that that you don't own the property, so it's a little bit more difficult. But generally, I think when we cover up this equipment, particularly when it's close to schools, that it's advantageous for the neighborhood and for surrounding properties and land uses and stuff. So let me take a closer look at that. But like I said, I will approve this. It may behoove you in the meantime to try to get a read on that with the owner there, or whoever you're leasing this from, to see if that's something that they would object to or would prevent you from being able to go forward with the project. But I will approve it. Let me just take a little bit more time to do some research on that issue of screening. Okay. All right, great. So as soon as I have a decision ready, I'll put it into a PDF. I'll email it to you. You'll have it really just moments after it's complete. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to email me directly. If you'd like a status update on the decision, email me directly, and I will let you know.
Okay.
Any other questions or anything right now?
Nope.
Okay, great. Well,